Hello and welcome to Supercars of London and my first supercar. And today we're testing Premier Velocity's Porsche Boxster S. 3.4 litre engine, 0 to 60 in around 4.8 seconds. This car costs £50,000, so it's pretty much the same sort of value as a Ferrari 360, which back in the day was one of the most popular supercars. The Boxster S gets great reviews from all of Premier Velocity's customers, so I'm really intrigued to find out what makes this car so good and what makes Porsche fans love them so much. So let's get inside and have a look at the interior. So I'm sat in the Porsche Boxster S for the first time, and as a lot of you know, I'm not the biggest Porsche fan. They're not really my cup of tea, and I was a bit skeptical whether I could actually do this review without offending the Porsche community. But inside, it's faultless. The leather and stainless steel looks fantastic and it feels really luxurious. It's a really nice place to sit, and the whole interior is very well designed, and as you can imagine, being German, it probably all works as well. So you get a lot of great views. There's a lot of red interior in the Premier Velocity version and a lot of stainless steel, but it's very, very well designed, a lot of great views, especially that Lamborghini there. I'm surprisingly looking forward to going out in the Porsche Boxster S and giving it a good review. Hopefully my opinions on Porsches will begin to change after today. Premier Velocity's customers absolutely love this car, say it's one of the most fun they've ever had in cars, and it's one of Porsche's most popular cars, so they've got to be doing something right. So let's get James in here and take this car out on the road. So the first few miles in my first Porsche. I've never even been in a Porsche before.
You've never been in a Porsche?
No. So the Boxster S, the entry-level Porsche model. Not the S is obviously the top spec
of the Boxster.
Of the Boxster, but the entry model, the Boxster. So it's got a 3.4 litre engine, 0 to 60 in about 4.8 seconds. I've read on Google. But it's a nice place to sit.
It's the Boxster is, bizarrely enough, out of all the cars we have at Premier Velocity, is one of my favourite cars. Going back to the driving experience of this vehicle in general, we start with the ride. As you can probably feel, it's extremely supple. It feels like it's very connected to the road.
And even the inside, the seats are really
very comfortable. It's a really good driving position. It doesn't. It feels more expensive than it used to. In the old Boxsters of old, it did feel a little bit bare.
It does feel £60,000 worth.
It does, which is good. This whole new Porsche Centre design, where they've got the big elongated tunnel, which started in the Panamera, and then it's now onto the new 911, and obviously now with the Boxster. I love this new sports steering wheel. Porsche always said they were never going to do a car with paddles. Always, they were like, we're always going to have those disgusting counterintuitive buttons, the one where you can go up and down with one button. But literally, I mean, they put them on, and I don't think anybody used them ever. And they were like, we're never going to do a car with paddles. And it's a paddle, isn't it? I personally think this car looks fantastic as well.
It does look a lot different to the old Porsche Boxsters. I think one of the best things about this car is it's got a bit of a Carrera GT feel to it.
It hits the 918 as well.
Yeah, the extended wheel arches in the rear look great, and then the sort of the spoiler that comes across the rear lights is also a really nice touch and makes it.
It is, and I'm a big fan of the new 991 alloys as well. I think that I think they really fill the arch as well in this car.
See, I thought I was going to be in this car, sort of with a grumpy face on,
I'm underwhelmed.
I'm in a Porsche. Like, everyone knows that Porsches aren't really my cup of tea.
I mean,
but I've never actually been out in a Porsche, so I feel like I was being really judgmental, because for the first 5 minutes or so, I'm enjoying the ride. I haven't really felt the power yet, but it's a nice place to sit.
Yeah, when we start accelerating a little bit and finding a bit more space, then you'll really see it's not slow either. It's over 300 horsepower. It's a light car. Its power delivery is really good. There's a lot of torque all the way to the rev rate. They've done really well with this car. It comes alive above 5.5, 6,000. That's when it really starts to sing. But third gear, you can. Do you know what I mean? It's still got a lot of power for this is a Boxster. This is the definitive hairdresser's car that people said, you buy a Boxster instead of a 911, poor man's Porsche. It isn't anymore.
So here we go.
Yeah. So revs to about 7.5.
Does sound good.
You can feel how nimble it is. I mean, you see what I mean?
I'm almost on your lap.
It moves around a little bit, but it's just very, very easy to manage at speed. And, you know, I mean, you're sitting in fifth gear, you've still got torque in fifth. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
For a Boxster.
Feel that Boxster, the 3.4 litre.
It's a really good gearbox.
Yeah. The gear changes are instant.
Bang on. So like a GTR or a 458.
Yeah.
So you don't need to spend £200,000 on a double clutch and 458, or spend £5 every time you go to the dealership with a Nissan GTR. You can get a decent finance package from Porsche. You can get a Boxster, and it's exactly the same thing.
It doesn't sound bad either.
No, it's a great engine.
I'm not going to say it sounds good, because what determines good in a supercar is very high up on my opinions, because I've seen so many cars. I mean, there's on the Cinque Roadsters and the Aventadors.
Those engines, just, you know, you can't even compare them.
They sound amazing.
Yeah,
so when you drop down to good, it's like the Gallardos and the 458s. I mean, they sound good. They don't sound amazing because they're not as on. This sounds okay. It doesn't sound bad, but I mean, that's good in my terms.
It's got to be relative to to what you're looking at, really.
Exactly.
If you're spending £1.2 million on a supercar that, you know, essentially doesn't have any more cabin space than this, and, you know, it costs you 20 grand every time you want to change the pads or something, then it should sound like God, you know. It really
So that's
should.
why I don't particularly like the Veyron.
Exactly. It's like they've engineered it to the max, and all they can do is get better. So every single time one of these comes out, it's going to be better than the one before, because that's what they're good at.
Stopping you there, we've got the Premier Velocity tunnel.
So a little bit second.
Two-wheel drive, two-seater sports car. It's at the top.
It is. It's right there. I can't think of anything. You know, I mean, and it is really fast too. I mean, it's really fast. For what it is, it's really good.
A lot of people would say it's a Boxster. They wouldn't say it's a Porsche. If I saw a 911 or I saw a turbo, I'd probably say it's a Porsche. But when it was a Boxster, well, it was a Boxster.
It's a Boxster. And do you know what? That actually used to be a bad thing, and it still hasn't managed to get away completely from that, because, you know, I mean, as everybody knows, you know, this is a Premier Velocity vehicle, so therefore it's a hire car.
Yeah.
Okay, so, you know, this car is available for people to drive and come and hire it and take it out for the weekend.
It's actually one of your cheapest cars.
It is one of the cheapest cars.
Without plugging.
Yeah, without plugging. We dropped this car right down in price to just get it moving.
Real cheap bit of fun.
And everybody, you know, that drives it, when somebody takes the plunge and comes in and says, yeah, I'm going to take it, then they come back, biggest smile on their face, and they can't believe that, you know, that for what they paid for it. And he took all this stuff away from them.
No one's going to hit you. I see what you mean by this car's fun.
I love it.
Yeah, how often do you see James with a smile on his face?
I know, I'm always really serious.
Driving the 458 is very serious. Driving the McLaren, it's even more serious. I kind of want to see your face driving a Lamborghini, and don't worry, we'll do the Lamborghinis. They are coming soon.
They are coming.
And the Audi R8 as well.
And the R8 as well, because that's a big favourite of mine.
Yeah.
But no,
I can feel a headache coming on. Is buying a supercar a really good idea?
You're going to be there all the time, like, you're like, oh, Paul, how you joined the car?
I need more paracetamol.
Is everybody?
So as we slow down now, and the viewer will be able to hear us a little bit better, I'm I'm trying to rack my brain onto the car that had a perforated head seat for when your head gets hit to the back. And I can't remember what car it was, whether it was a 458 or the SLS.
I think the SLS.
I think it was the SLS. So again, a German thing. But the Porsche has got a very spongy headrest for when your head hits the back of the seat. I mean, for a Boxster, I wasn't expecting to be thrown back in the seat, but I am. And this car is a real surprise vehicle for me, who I'm not really a Porsche fan. I don't think I ever will be a Porsche fan, but it's great to get an inside opinion on why people do like Porsches.
You never need to, you know, if you're an avid car fan, then you're going to have cars that you love for reasons that you can't always explain, and you're going to have cars that you don't like for reasons that you can't always explain, you know. But the thing is that if you're in the know, if you go to the next level and you want to be part of that world, then you have the ability to respect your opinion, but then at the same time respect others, respect a car for what it does. You know, in the same, you know, we touched upon that with the McLaren. You know, the McLaren is what it is. People don't like it sometimes because it's not a Ferrari, and that's it. And that is their reason. They're like, well, I don't like it because it hasn't got prance forks. I'm like, okay, fine, you know. But if they can also turn around and say, but I understand that it's one of the best supercars that's been made in the last 10 years.
It's so true.
It is. I mean, and the same with something like this. You can get in it and you can get out and go, wow, you know, genuinely, that's a really good car. But then, you know, you don't have to go, right, that's it, I'm converted, I'm going to buy one tomorrow. You don't need to.
Exactly. Like I say with a lot of the reviews, I just end up respecting and appreciating the car. So we're heading back to Premier Velocity now.
Back to HQ.
Been out in the Porsche Boxster for 20 minutes, half an hour.
Yeah, 20 minutes or so.
To get a good feel of the car. And I have to say, my opinion on Porsches in general have changed in the sense of the engineering and the performance that they can create in a car. Look at that, an old school Boxster. But in this car, I mean, everyone at Premier Velocity said that this car was a surprise vehicle. All of your customers absolutely love it.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't say that I love it, but I'd say that this is a hell of a lot of fun.
It's a great car.
For the money that you pay.
Yeah, for the money that you pay. In its sector of the market, it's a market leader.
It is a really cool car. My opinion of the car, it looks great. It looks a lot better than the Porsche Boxster. I'm not saying that it looks as good as some of the supercars that we've tested, but for a Porsche Boxster,
the latest one is
definitely the best. It has the Carrera GT look about it. Inside, it's also very luxurious, and everything works because it's German. A hell of a lot of fun. I mean, I would happily go and buy this car and just absolutely thrash it full throttle everywhere. I probably wouldn't ever be in 6th gear unless I was on the autobahn. Yeah, knowing how much fun you can get in this car is something that I'm going to be looking for in the other cars that we test, and making sure that I have as much fun in this car as I do in, say, the Lamborghinis, the Audi R8s, and the other cars that we're going to be reviewing. So yeah, as we're waiting to go back to Premier Velocity's headquarters, I was quite worried about this review because I know that the Porsche community is so strong and so passionate towards Porsche. I thought I was going to offend them by doing a review on Porsches, because when I sort of said that Porsche didn't sound great,
well, you're not going to be offended, I'll tell you that.
I there was a backlash between people that liked Porsches saying, oh, they do sound great, they are really fast, and I was just like, well, they're not my cup of tea. They're still not my cup of tea, but I hope that I've done the Porsche Boxster S justice, or we both have, in this review.
No, we have, and yeah, you know, you can't really say much else than the fact that, you know, the amount of cars that we have on offer, and this is right at my favourite ever cars.
Yeah, so the Porsche Boxster S, we've finished.
All done.